Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a crucial strategic resource for any business leader, an in-depth look at mobile app development services. Let's be honest, having a mobile app is pretty much table stakes right now. The entire business world is organizing itself around these digital tools. But here's the reality we need to confront today. Treating a mobile app like a simple digital brochure, that is a massive strategic error. What you're actually launching is a complex system that ties directly into your back-end operations. It influences absolutely every customer interaction, and it dictates your strategic options for years to come. So let's dive into this briefing and see how we can transform your app from a basic project into a long-term, highly scalable business asset.
Here is our agenda for today. We'll be looking at the modern mobile app, defining your app strategy, the app development journey, navigating costs and challenges, choosing the right partner, and finally, securing long-term success.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the modern mobile app, moving beyond just an app.
I want to pose this question directly to you. Why is mobile app development no longer just an app? We really need to shatter this illusion of simplicity right out of the gate. Today's applications demand rigorous security, multi-platform consistency, and often they need to learn and adapt using AI-driven personalization. This evolution completely redefines what you're hiring a team for. Your focus has to shift decisively from just basic coding to a much deeper, far more strategic skill set. To truly succeed and reap those business benefits, your teams must adopt what we call product thinking. This means you're aiming for intentional architecture, designed for scale and resilience right from the very beginning. It's about focusing on actual business outcomes rather than a team just taking orders and writing commands. But it doesn't stop there. You absolutely need DevOps maturity. Foundational knowledge of security by design is a non-negotiable bedrock if you want to earn your users' trust. And finally, delivery management. The team has to be capable of managing rapid delivery cycles and ongoing lifecycle management well beyond that first release.
Moving on to section 2, defining your app strategy, laying the business foundation.
Before a single line of code is written, there are core business questions you must answer internally. First, what is the single driving business goal? Are you driving sales, or maybe automating a painfully manual process? That single purpose becomes the North Star for every future feature request. Second, which platforms actually matter most to your audience? Where do your customers spend their time? Third, how complex does the experience truly need to be right now? Does version 1 honestly need complex AI? Fourth, are you building a quick one-off just to check a box or a long-term digital footprint? And finally, what's a realistic budget and timeline? Having this candid conversation up front builds a solid foundation of trust. And believe me, it avoids a lot of difficult meetings later on.
Once you have your strategy locked in, you have to choose your technical path. Let's compare the two core development approaches. On one hand, we have native app development. This means building specifically for iOS using Swift or Android using Kotlin. This is your absolute best bet when you need top-tier performance. Think heavy financial, healthcare, or gaming apps. Alternatively, we have cross-platform development. This approach uses tools like Flutter or React Native to build from a single code base for both platforms. It is a fantastic path to get a functional app to market faster and generally for less initial cost. The choice here isn't about what's objectively better. It's entirely about what aligns with your specific business needs and your budget.
That brings us to section 3, the app development journey, the product thinking methodology. A truly strategic partner doesn't just sit down and start coding. They follow a very specific sequence. First, they dig deep into the real problems to understand user needs. Second, they build simple user flows, charting a sensible route so users don't get stuck. Third, they create clickable prototypes so you can physically test the flow before writing any actual code. Fourth, they structure an MVP, a minimum viable product. This requires a lot of discipline. It's the absolute smallest set of features needed to prove your core idea works, which saves you from building things nobody actually wants. Fifth, they define the future roadmap based on your business objectives. And sixth, they run usability tests, watching real people use the app to uncover pure gold insights right before the final build. But keep in mind, the front-end interface, what the user actually sees, is only part of the journey. A successful app requires a robust, unseen engine. You've got back-end and API development. This manages your user logins, keeps data synced, and securely connects to your other crucial business software. You have UI/UX design guiding the intuitive feel of the whole experience. You need rigorous QA and test automation woven directly into the build cycle to catch bugs and security holes early on. And increasingly, we're seeing strategic AI integration.
This can mean intelligence that stays on the device for speed and privacy, smarter recommendations that understand nuanced preferences, or natural chatbots that resolve issues without feeling robotic. Section 4. Navigating costs and challenges. What actually drives price?
Let's demystify app pricing for a second and look at what actually impacts your budget. Feature complexity is by far your biggest price factor. A basic app is straightforward, but adding real-time features or AI requires a whole different level of effort. Platform count is just simple math. Building natively for both iOS and Android nearly doubles the work. Then there's the backend. If you need microservices and heavy data processing, it demands deep expertise and time. Third-party integrations, like dropping in Stripe, Salesforce, or Twilio, add a whole layer of custom testing. And please don't forget cloud infrastructure. Hosting on AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud means ongoing monthly costs that are going to scale right alongside your traffic.
And that brings us to a really stark warning about a common challenge, captured perfectly in this quote from our source material. Technical debts is the price you pay for taking shortcuts. A sloppy foundation might get you to market faster, and yeah, it might look cheaper up front, but the interest payments you'll make in the form of constant bug fixes, endless reworks, and messy code rewrites, those will absolutely cripple your future progress. Next up, Section 5, choosing the right partner, vetting beyond the portfolio. Look, a pretty portfolio only shows what a company has delivered in the past. It doesn't show you how they operate behind the scenes. So the crucial takeaway here is that you need to ask highly specific technical questions to separate mediocre coders from strategic development partners. Ask them straight up, what architecture do you recommend for our scale? How do you proactively prevent OWASP top 10 security vulnerabilities? Do you use a CI/CD pipeline for your deployment workflow? What exact percentage of your QA process is automated testing? And how quickly do you resolve production bugs, and what is your escalation matrix? If they stumble on these, they probably aren't the right partner for you. Ultimately, you're looking for the partnership mindset. You want a team that doesn't just blindly say yes to every single feature, but actually challenges your assumptions based on real user data. You need a communication culture that operates with agile transparency, meaning weekly demos and clear documentation so you are never left in the dark. And as your ambitions grow, you need a partner with a proven ability to scale their efforts seamlessly right alongside you. Remember, you are entering a long-term business relationship here. Finally, Section 6. Securing long-term success, post-launch realities. I want you to really think about this for a second. What happens after launch day? We so often see companies approach their mobile app as a technical box to check off. But an app is a living product. Without dedicated, ongoing care, it's going to stumble. Here is what the continuous care for your digital asset actually entails. First, you need relentless crash monitoring and performance optimization, because absolutely nothing makes it easier to delete an app faster than a screen freeze. You also have to handle mandatory App Store versioning and OS updates. If you let this slide, your app will literally just stop working on newer phones. You need proactive security patches and SDK upgrades to keep your users protected. You need a team that sticks around to analyze user insights, guiding what you should build next based on actual behavior. And eventually, you'll need app modernization to breathe new life into aging technology. Which leads us to one of the most vital key takeaways of this entire briefing. If you only budget for the beginning, you're planning for a dead product. Ongoing cloud hosting, payment gateway fees, and all those necessary updates require dedicated, long-term financial planning. The real budget killer isn't always the initial build. It's the stuff after launch that determines your app's actual lifespan. So, as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this final thought. Your mobile app is a serious, long-term business commitment. It requires a holistic understanding of product strategy and secure architecture. I highly encourage you to look closely at your own digital roadmap today. Ask yourself, are you just trying to build a basic application, or are you ready to embrace product thinking and choose a strategic partner who builds for the future? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep building, and we'll see you next time.